Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Let's do a Q&A since I had some very interesting questions. I've been having consultations today because finally I am accepting new clients officially. And I've had some questions that I wanted to answer right here. So the first question, and this is something that I do get asked quite a lot, is does magic work on avoidance? So the short answer is yes. Magic definitely can work on avoidance and will be working on them. Of course, it is a little bit trickier because clearly avoidance will be ignoring the pushes. They will try to run away from pushes. So what can happen when you have an avoidant and you do a spell on an avoidant is that they will, and this happens quite a bit of times, suddenly they will block you or suddenly they will stop replying if they were because they just can't handle the pushes and they're trying to run away from them. But if you keep your cool while this is happening, the spell will keep doing its work. And if you match it vibrationally, which we're going to talk about in a moment, it's going to work. And they're actually going to, go back to you. Now, vibrational work is extremely important if you are dealing with an avoidant. The reason why is because basically, if you are dealing with an avoidant, you most likely are anxious. This doesn't mean that you are anxiously attached in general, but with this specific person, you most likely are because avoidance usually will trigger the anxious attachment style within you. And maybe if you weren't during the relationship, you are now after a breakup. And after the breakup, a lot of people will just go anxious anyways. So it's very important to work on that, basically, to work on your attachment style because you want to be safe and secure. Because the dynamic between avoidant and an anxious person is just impossible, clearly, and it will always be push and pull. And you want to get it settled because even if your avoidant does come back, if you haven't dealt with your attachment style, the same thing will happen again. So you want to be safe and secure within yourself. You want to feel safe and secure so that the avoidant behavior doesn't trigger you and it doesn't put you in anxiety and misery. Okay. Okay, so next one was very interesting. It wasn't actually magic related, it was more vibration related, mindset related, and it's about having a lot of fears that come from overprotective parents. How to deal with that? This is a great question. I think that so many people struggle with this and are not even aware of it. So as you guys know, our brain gets programmed when we are little kids the most. It gets programmed all through our life, but the most programming will happen when you're a little child. Parents, they tend to be overprotective because they just want to protect their kids. They want their kids to always be fine, and they get very worried and anxious. And just like having a child with it, in some people, it will just trigger a lot of anxiety and a lot of worry. So, what can happen if your parents are overly worried and they're putting all these fears upon you, telling you world is a dangerous place, you shouldn't go there, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. They're basically like keeping you in a golden cage and are like, just giving you all these fears about the world, is that you are gonna take in those fears and claim them as your own. You're gonna become a person that lives in fear. And I think that we all have just fears as it is because of, past traumas, experiences, a bunch of stuff. But we also have a lot of fear that's not actually our fear. And this is the worst fear to have because it's pointless fear. It's not even our fear. It's something that has been, passed onto us by somebody else. And the first step is understanding. Number one, you have to understand your parents. So if you're going to be resentful, um, that's not the way to go. Always have understanding for others. They thought this is the best to do because they wanted to protect you. So they were trying their best, and they had good intentions, obviously. They didn't want anything to harm you and things like that. So understanding them. And then the second step is being aware how it all works, that you are basically programmed as a child with these fears that are not really your own. And then you just start releasing them. You start kind of logically inspecting those fears and kind of seeing, okay, this is not likely to happen. And things can always happen, and this is something you need to accept and be aware of, but it's not very likely. So I might as well go on that vacation or whatever it is. So that is what I would recommend, really changing your limiting beliefs, basically changing those fears, working on yourself, and just on your vibration, making it stronger. That is how you fight fears, and you're just going to notice that change within you. It's brilliant. Try it. Okay, question number 3. Do spells work on narcissists? So yes, spells can work on narcissists. Again, it can be a little tricky, but yes, they can work. However, I do not recommend, if you're dealing with a person like that, I do not recommend magic. I don't recommend um, getting back together with them. I recommend healing, honestly. So that would be my recommendation if the person truly is a narcissist, because nowadays, everybody is proclaimed one, but it's not that simple. And yeah, it has to be a real diagnosis, basically. But if a person is, harming you in any way, um, you shouldn't be doing spell work to bring them back. Okay, next question was, I'm really trying to do the vibrational work, but I simply can't leave my victim mentality. What do I do? Okay, so you can definitely get coaching if you like, if you're really stuck and you can't do it yourself. But here's what you can do. So definitely try to be honest with yourself. Admit to yourself everything that's bothering you, because we try to avoid a lot, and we try to hide a lot, even from ourselves. So you gotta be aware of everything, gotta be honest with yourself. Then really think about what are your limiting beliefs and your fears and all of the negative emotions that you may have piled on, and we all have them. So I've had numerous times. It happened to me numerous times that I would ask clients, what are your limiting beliefs regarding love, or, women, men, whatever. And they would tell me, and this especially goes for young men, they would usually tell me, I have no limiting beliefs. Nothing's bothering me. I have no fears. I'm totally fine. And, this is just not realistic. And, I don't buy it. And I think that a lot of people are unaware of their limiting beliefs. They simply think that these are facts. That's the thing. So, limiting beliefs are those negative, is that negative self talk, sorry, that you have inside of your head. And that voice that's telling you you are not good enough, or no, it will not go your way, or no, you can't have that, or no, there's no way this person is not lying to you, there's no way this person would choose you. So these are actually your limiting beliefs, and you think these are just your thoughts, and this is just your normal pattern, and everybody thinks like this. And a lot of people do, because we are wired to think negatively, because that's the way our brain is trying to protect us from disappointment and all sorts of stuff. However, this is not normal. This is not normal self talk, and this is not logical, and this is not true. And we believe that voice, and we believe that, for example, some things we picked up, like general things. We believe that, I don't know, after whatever age, let's say 50, you can't find love because, you heard it a million times, or somebody said it, your mom or your dad, or you kind of figured it out from articles or from social media or whatever, or maybe your colleagues at work said it or whoever, and now you think this is a fact. It's a limiting belief because it's not actually a fact and it's not actually true. You just think it is, and you're so convinced it's true that you are not even aware that you have a limiting belief. Or if you had like bad experiences with men in the past, and then you've created this idea that there are no good men, and you think that this is a fact. You're like convinced that they are all kind of bad, right? But that's actually not a fact, and there are good men out there. Or you think that people are in generally, just evil and have no good intentions, and maybe you don't have friends or you don't connect with people because you think they're all, just gonna hurt you or whatever. This is again obviously not a fact and not true. This can come actually from your upbringing. Maybe your parents were overly protective. They were telling you that everyone is dangerous, and it just created that kind of a mindset. So it's very important to recognize the limiting beliefs. And this can be tricky and it can be hard, it can be difficult. So if you can't afford coaching or some kind of therapy, doesn't have to be with me clearly, where you can with somebody who is a professional discuss these things, and they're going to ask you questions, and then they can kind of understand what your limiting beliefs are, then you can absolutely do it yourself. And I do always recommend it. But the thing is that you really have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be aware that some things are not just your usual self-talk. They're not just thoughts. These are the limiting beliefs, guys. So the things that you think are true or are true for you or whatever, and they actually are not, because when you logically think about them, you can find millions of examples that this is not a fact. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. And then once you find those limiting beliefs, you just have to see that they are limiting you and they are not true, and it doesn't have to be like this, and it doesn't have to be like this anymore. Because people who are in victim mentality, and let's talk severe victim mentality, because I do get messages from people who are in severe victim mentality and just don't know how to get out of it. They are convinced that they can't get out of it. They are convinced they can't change anything. They are convinced that everything sucks, nothing good can happen to them. And these are all limiting beliefs because it's not true, and these are all blocks. And remember, guys, once you hit rock bottom, the only way is up. So you have to be positive, and you have to work on building and changing your life. And yes, you can do it, and yes, it's possible, and yes, millions of people have done it, and millions of people have been in that situation and even worse situations than yours, and they did get out of them. So it's very, very important to address those limiting beliefs and understand they are just limiting you. And when you change your mindset, that things can start changing for you, because they can. It's not just a phrase. It's not a lie. It does actually work. Um, so definitely working on yourself, working on those beliefs, working on maybe some patterns that you have in your behavior, like anything. It's going to be different for different people, clearly, but that is something you really need to do. And you can do it. The important thing is to actually do it, because a lot of people, they will listen and they will agree, and then they will not do it, or they will do it for a little while and then they're going to give up, because it's not going to work right away, nothing's going to change straight away, and they're just going to stop because they're going to think, okay, this is pointless, I'm going to go back to my victim mentality. But what do you have if you actually go back to your victim mentality? Will things improve? No. Like this, you are at least trying. So I think that that's a bad idea, but people do it all the time. They just go back to where they were, and they just say, oh, nothing works. Because if something doesn't work within like a week or a month, people just declare it doesn't work. They want a quick fix. They want a quick fix. And there are no quick fixes, because when you're severely in victim mentality, you can't expect for your mind to just switch on the other side right away. It's gonna take some work because to create a mindset, sorry, to change a mindset and to actually reprogram your limiting beliefs, to reprogram your brain, it does take repetition, it does take time. So keep that in mind. Don't give up on yourselves, please. Um, and don't think that I am lying to you when I say these things, because you can find it. Neuroscientists, they talk about this as well. It's proven, it does. This is how it really works. So please don't give up on yourselves. Don't allow yourselves to go back into that dark place. And I know it's so easy to do that because number one, we are impatient beings. So if something doesn't work right away, we are kind of like, oh no, it doesn't work. I'm gonna stop doing it. Um, so imagine if you joined a gym and you want to change your body completely, and you're going for, I don't know, a month or two and nothing's really changing, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna stop now. And if you stop, what's gonna happen? You're gonna stay the way you are, right? You're not gonna get a dream body if you stop. If you keep going, you're definitely gonna get the dream body, won't you? And same goes with vibrational work, with everything. So don't stop. Don't ever stop, and be very mindful who you surround yourself with and what information you're allowing to enter your brain, because there are so many people around you that will, not bad people, not people with bad intentions, but they will just project their own beliefs onto you. And then you're gonna believe them basically, and you're going to kind of take those beliefs and make them your own, or you're going to just get stuck in that victim mentality because others around you will be saying, oh yeah, you can't do this, you can't do that. And just be mindful, be very mindful through this process. And please guys, don't give up, don't ever give up. Everything can change and everything can become a lot better, I promise. Okay, so just opened my email and found some new questions. Do you have a meditation for stubborn push and pull connections? I don't have a specific meditation for that, but for those on the mailing list, a very good one you can use for connections like this is the contact meditation or communication meditation. I'm not sure how I named it, but that is the one that will help there. And I will definitely be making more stuff for the mailing list. That's going to be really helpful. So thank you for your feedback. So just I'll know in which direction you guys are interested for me to go. Okay. Well, okay, guys, it's actually been 18 minutes. I don't believe it. Time flies. So I'm going to actually end it now because I don't want to bore you with audios that are so long. Thank you for sticking around till the end if you have. And yeah, love you. Bye.